continuing with day 3 from Advent of Code 2021. We already saw in previous video day 2, part 1 and part 2, and now we're continuing with day 3. As in the previous video, what I already made clear is that we're trying to solve the problems with using ChatGPT. For each day I'm starting a new chat and I'm keeping in my GitHub repository of the input, prompts, etc. for the days so far that I have solved. Let me continue doing that and pick day 3. Pick second, paste, and here we have day 3 part 1. Empty for input, text as well, empty, prompt, we'll come to that, and here empty, put prompt. Okay, let's take a close look for the input for day 3. We're continuing with our submarine. We have binary diagnostic. The submarine has been making somewhat cracking noises as you ask it to produce a diagnostic report just in case. And the diagnostic report is our input puzzle. The input puzzle is in a binary format. You can see it here, and let's look a little bit what we should do. Consists of a list of binary numbers which, when decoded properly, can tell you many useful things about the condition of the submarine. The first parameter to check is the power consumption. Okay, we have some information here for the power consumption. You need to use binary number in diagnostic report to generate two new binary number called gamma rate and epsilon rate. The power consumption can then be found multiplying the gamma rate by the epsilon rate. Okay, we need to find gamma rate and epsilon rate, and based on that, by multiplying them, we can get the consumption. And let's see, each bit in the gamma rate can be determined by finding most common bits in the corresponding position of a number diagnostic report. For example, given the following diagnostic report, what can we see? Considering only the first bit of each number, there are 5 zeros and 7 ones. And 7 ones, since the most common bit is 1, the first bit of the gamma rate is 1. Okay, we need to do some analysis using columns. Okay, looks more challenging than the previous one. Let's get a little bit of idea. The summary has made some more scrap. Okay, I will skip that part and go for the diagnostic part. As previously we usually have the prompt that's been so far. Let me delete that. I can add a little bit of that. We have our question using the formatting that in the tutorials on ChatGPT 3 OpenAI suggests, simply to use the 3 quotes as in Python, to simply have a common chunk of input. We're using Q for question, having instruction, and A for answer. When we go further, we usually, for the second part, we also give the solution of the first part as a solution. And our initial instruction is always, please write me a Go program that solves this. Not more complicated than that. And of course we don't put this prompt once. Let me copy and get all of that. Okay, let's see how ChatGPT is doing. ChatGPT has this tendency to decimal integer. Okay, and ChatGPT is getting our report as a console input from the standard input. However, we want to have it in a file. It's not a big deal. Every time I simply add additional prompt in which I ask prompt to instruction, could you read the input file path code day 3 part 1 input dot text. And we already did that here in my second prompt. Did I have my second? No, here I didn't have second prompt. Anyway, somewhere it did the same thing and I needed to prompt again. Could you read them from the file? But and that's our question. Let's see what's the answer. Hop. We have very similar code. Most of the rest is kept the same. To decimal, binary to decimal, binary to decimals. Work with the same logic, and now we're reading from a file. Okay, so far so good. Let's take a look at the initially what the code is doing. Let's save on that. We're reading the file, we're checking for errors, so forth, we're scanning line by line, and we are appending text to our reports, which are string. After that, we are calculating gamma rate, and gamma rate. The gamma rate need binary number of the okay. To determine the gamma rate, we need to go to the fountain multiple. We need to go through all the positions in the first column. Yeah, let's see what ChatGPT is doing. We're getting the first row because that's each row have the same number of columns, and it's going from 1 up to the length minus 1, which means up to the length less than the length, it's length minus 1, that will be the number of index, which means that it's correctly checking all of the columns. After that, it's putting zeros and ones to count them. It's going through all of the reports, and it's checking the corresponding number, and it's counting the zeros and the ones. Okay, that seems about correct. That's all for the information from the task. The most common second bit of the number diagnosis reports is 0. Is second bit of the gamma rate is 0. The most common value in the third, fourth are ones and ones respectively, and so the final 3 bits of the rate are 1, 1, 0. The gamma rate is binary number or 22. Okay, which means that for each column it's deciding, okay, which one is bigger. If the ones are bigger, I will say that the gamma is 1, otherwise 0. Okay, that looks absolutely correct. Let's see phone part. The epsilon rate is calculated in a similar way. Rather than use the most common bit, the least common bit from each position is used. Okay, which means that in the simply here should be the other way around. If once it's less, we get 1, and we get 0 here in that connection, and we can have our epsilon. Of course, we can move the epsilon here, do the checks in one loop, and having this gamma epsilon decision in one loop. At the moment we'll keep it like 2 loops. Let's not go to optimize solutions, and let's see. After that it's simply converting binary to decimal. I mean, I'm a little bit confused of this shifting, but let's try and test it. I'm pretty sure that anyway it's relatively easy to find a solution for that. For the moment we have 22, and we need to have 9, and our result should be 198 if all the calculations are correct. Let's run our program. The thing that it's go routine running package main. What is that? 29. Oh, it's going out of range. Why is here? We're trying to access a link. That means that our input is empty. It's empty because here our file is empty. Okay, that's fine. So to say my mistake. Okay, correct. So far, let's try out grabbing that and don't waste our time to analyze my mistakes. For that we do it with ChatGPT, because we know that ChatGPT is better than me. Okay, we're getting this number. The moment of the truth. Is that the correct solution? And ChatGPT did day 3 part 1. Thank you for your time and hope that was useful, and see you in the next video for day 3 part 2.